Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Justine.
And I'm Danielle.
And this is That's What They Called News. All right. Oh, it's been a while since we've seen each other. How's the new job?
I like it a lot, actually.
Good.
There's learning new people and annoyances and all of that fun stuff, but I think it's all going to go really great.
Good. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear that. And my work has been extremely busy.
Yeah.
We're getting ready for some farm shows and stuff, and so I get to redesign some marketing materials and help with all that stuff, and so it's been really busy.
Well, but that's fun.
In a good way. And I'm exhausted because a couple nights ago, my 10-year-old daughter threw a fit and wouldn't sleep.
What was she throwing a fit about?
I don't know. She wouldn't tell me. She just kept crying because she couldn't sleep. And I said, are you in pain? Do your legs hurt? Do you have a headache? Does your stomach hurt? I went through all the things. I said, are there a bunch of thoughts in your head? I don't know. I don't know.
She was just having a moment, huh?
Yeah. Yep. She had a real loud moment.
Wow.
It was rough. It was a rough night.
Awesome.
And I'm not built for no sleep. I'm over the newborn thing. I like sleep.
I mean,
I must sleep.
It's been 10 years since you had a newborn.
Yeah,
so
it's been a while. But we did get to go to the fair and get her a gluten-free funnel cake, which was a pretty special treat for her. She hasn't had one in 3 years since she was diagnosed with celiac disease. So it was really nice that she got to have a funnel cake. And I was like, are you so excited? She's like, yeah. And I was like, she's like, they're so good. And then she goes, actually, I don't remember what they taste like. I was like, well, they are good. They're good.
Yeah.
You can trust me on that one. She was like, okay. She ate the whole thing by herself. I got one little bite, but I was okay with that because she hasn't had a funnel cake in 3 years. Poor girl.
Crazy.
And her big sister loves funnel cake. And so anytime there is funnel cake around, she gets a funnel cake. And Kate just has to sit there and go, I wish I had a funnel cake. But today we're going to be talking about the gold rush.
Nice.
Back in the 1849. This is actually in 1848. December, but
okay.
So the California Gold Rush tales today.
Awesome.
Ready to jump in?
I am. Let's hear it.
This is The Rush for Gold from the Weekly National Intelligencer, December 23rd, 1848. Excuse me. Late from California, from the Journal of Commerce. We have been favored with the following extracts from letters from Captain Spring, commanding the ship Huntress at San Francisco, directed to her owners in this city. San Francisco, September 21st, 1848. My apologies, I hit a chord. I arrived at Monterey on the morning of the 10th, exactly 142 days from New York. That's a really long trip.
Seriously.
On my arrival, I found such a state of things existing as it is not easy to describe. The town, if such it may be called, I found entirely deserted. There were not 10 men and about twice that number of women left in the place. This was in consequence of the discovery of extensive gold mines on the banks of the river Sacramento, about 24 hours run up the river, where I am now lying. Almost before I had heard of the news myself, my crew had got a hold of it, and 6 of them were off. I found there were no facilities whatever for receiving or landing my cargo at Monterey, and be sure I could not be in worse a predicament here than there. I disembarked the troops and agreed with Governor Mason to proceed to this place. On my arrival here, I found very much the same state of things as at Monterey. All of the vessels in the harbor were deserted by their crews, in many instances by their officers, and in some by their masters. The facility with which any individual may, with only ordinary industry, pick up, either in what are called the dry or the wet diggings, $2,000 or $3,000 worth of pure gold in 1 month is too much temptation for most men. So how much do you think $2,000 to $3,000 was in 1848?
I feel like it's got to be worth at least like $100,000 now.
79 to 120.
Oh, look at me go.
You're like right in the middle there. Nice.
I'm getting better at this game.
I don't. Yeah. You've been practicing with flashcards?
No. I'm not that dedicated.
Come on.
I'll work on it.
Okay. I'll make the flashcards. They'll be pretty. I have not yet begun to discharge. The only lighter to be had here, suitable for taking out my cargo, belongs to the government, and she is out of repair. The quartermaster has been hard at work ever since I have been in, getting her up on the beach. He has employed several house carpenters who came here from Oahu to go to the mines at $8 to $10 per day to do this work. So $8 to $10 a day.
Like $100 a day?
$300 to $400.
Oh, okay.
It's not a bad day.
It's not at all.
It was a pretty good day.
Uh-huh.
Nominally, the price of day labor is $5 to $6, but no men are to be obtained other than the Indians or miserable, worn-out men. Who could
That used to be my dating life.
They're just miserable, worn-out.
Do you remember who my last boyfriend was?
It's terrible. Excuse me. Jeez Louise. Miserable, worn-out men who cannot go or else have been to the mines and returned sick. $50 per month are paid for men to go very short distances about on the coast, within the bargain, if the vessel has any yards, that they shall not go aloft. They are, for the most part, disbanded volunteers, and a more miserable set cannot be found anywhere. It cannot be found elsewhere in a hospital.
Wow.
Right? No men can be obtained at any price to work out of the usual hours, only during the day. The more they are paid, the less willing they are to work. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. 25 cents for a glass of grog and $1 per meal are the prices paid here. $1 a meal would be a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a lot. I mean, definitely don't get it now, but I remember $1 meals-ish. At least a $1 burger.
Yeah, like the dollar meal or dollar menu at all the restaurants, but
yeah.
Now it's like a $5 menu.
It is indeed. Gold being plenty, every description of goods is consequently high. $30 to $60 per pair for blankets, such as cost $4 in New York. $5 for shoes and everything pro rata. The character of a small craft, formerly a longboat, decked, is $50 per day. The launch of the Peacock, lost on the bar of Columbia some years since, arrived here yesterday and was sold before night for $2,250 in good, clean dust, meaning gold dust. 20 carats fine at $16 an ounce. Another, which came in from the river the same day, about a year old, of 13 tons, was sold for $4,000. They ask me $6 to $6.50 per dozen for washing. If I could only supply the place of my clothes by the purchase of new at New York prices, I would throw them overboard instead of having them washed. I left the ship Isaac Walton, only 2 years old, at Monterey, without a man on board. Not one of our men of war anchor in any of these waters, as they would lose their crews as if they did so. At present, common property is safe enough, lying anywhere unwatched. It is too small game to be taken any notice of. So you're like, just leave your shit laying around. Nobody will take it. It'll be fine. Like a small town.
Yeah.
Small town vibes.
Pretty much.
There is now some danger in returning from the mines, as there are those who prefer to take the gold already washed to their hands and then dig and wash for themselves. The most extravagant stories are told of gold found and the ease of which it is obtained. I have myself seen pieces weighing 1, 2, and 3 ounces, and in one instance, a lump perfectly pure weighing more than 10 ounces. It's a French word, so it's going to sound terrible when I say it. But
Okay, let's hear it.
A verde poise. It's basically when something weighs, it's like using a pound as 16 ounces to weigh something. So just 10 ounces seems fine. It is said, my informant is Governor Mason, who has been on the ground, that parties are digging many miles apart with equal success, and that for hundreds and hundreds of miles, all the precious metals are found in great abundance. When I asked him how much I might believe of the many apparently exaggerated stories that are told respecting the mines, he replied, "You may credit almost anything you hear. Gold is sold here now at $10 the ounce. Generally, it has been selling at $8 the ounce. Indeed, I have seen a great deal purchased from the common people at the latter price. Can you wonder what the common sailor overlooks his obligations under such circumstances? I am told from the good authority that the custom of those who sell liquor at the mines by glass is to take from the little bag which the customer holds open a pinch as of snuff for 1 glass of bad watered whiskey." So they are just taking, like, out of a little satchel, a little purse thing. They're just taking a little pinch of dust, like you would a pinch of chew. Lost my place. I tried the experiment and found I could easily take up $4 worth of dust at the rate of $16 an ounce. Those who have a large thumb and understand business can easily take up $6 or $8 in the same way. So you're paying $8 for a glass of beer, grog.
Wow.
A day or two since, a gentleman with whom I am very well acquainted from the Sandwich Islands. I want to go there.
Sounds tasty.
Sounds delicious. Wanted a man to take his trunk from the beach to his lodging, and seen an idle, half-clad Negro apparently running away from some vessel, he asked him if he would like the job. Again, disclaimer, these are words in the newspaper from 1848. These are not my words. The fellow cast him an indignant glance and turned away from him without deigning a reply. But after he had gone about 5 steps, he turned around and approached us, drawing from his bosom a small bag of dust, and said, "Do you think I'll lug trunks when I'll get that much in one day?" He had more than $100. Since I commenced this, I have seen... Okay, first of all, since I have commenced this, like, it takes them so long to write a letter. Like... This so far has been a page long, 2 pages typed. Okay. Yeah. But this is probably like days worth of writing for him. It was just crazy to me. Since I commenced this, I have seen an intelligent gentleman from Hartford, Connecticut, who has just come down from the mines. He has been absent from this place 2 months, and although a man of delicate constitution, he came out for his health. The net proceeds from his expedition amounted to $1,500. He gives me He gives me a vivid picture of the existing state of affairs up in the gold region. He thinks more than $2 million worth of gold has been collected there this season, and that it may be safely said the mines are inexhaustible. As you would suppose, vice of every kind and in the most horrible forms prevails here. The runaway sailors work a while and collect a quantity of dust, which they spend with the same recklessness that they do very much silver at home. They pay $7 or $8 per bottle for liquor, have a spree from which they come out destitute, and then begin again. A great deal of sickness prevails, and as one after another dies, he's thrown aside with the utmost indifference, without even a covering of earth. There has not, as far as I can learn, been any quarreling among the diggers. There is so much room for all to operate that there seems no necessity for any disturbance. What will be the result of all this, I cannot have any idea. I shall improve every opportunity to inform you of how I am getting along. I have seen the last man on board an English brig lying near me, hoist his chest out alone and scull to shore, abandoning the craft to her fate, the captain and mates and all the others having gone before. Like, these people are just jumping ship.
Yeah.
And going to find gold.
Well, I mean, when the wage that you can literally dig out of the ground exceeds what they pay you to be on some miserable, stinky ship.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would do the same thing.
But then they just go spend it all on liquor and start again the next day.
Yeah. I can't say much for their spending habits, but, you know.
I do have, I think one more about gold, but
Okay.
Do you want to jump in or do you want me to finish this one? Or do another one?
I can do one.
All right, you go.
Okay. So this one is Mornings in the National Institute. Don't know what the National Institute is, but I think we might find out.
I hope so. I can't wait.
First morning, having received devoted an occasional hour to the examination of the exploring expedition curiosities in the Museum of the National Institute, the idea has occurred to the writer of this that something might be done towards instructing and entertaining our readers by describing the various articles that have attracted his attention. If an apology were necessary for writing upon this subject, the fact might be mentioned that the number of persons who annually visit the National Museum is estimated at 70,000. And besides, as there is no printed catalog of this collection, though a specific one is in preparation, our desultory remarks may be received as a sort of temporary substitute.
Okay.
We would
This is going to be really descriptive. I can't. I'm excited.
Yes. We would, in the present paper, direct attention to the glass cases numbered 1, 2, 3, and which contain the various articles brought by the expedition under the command of Captain Wilkes from the Fiji Islands and the Fiji Islands, the population of which numbers about 133,000 inhabitants.
That's not very many.
No. And first, as to their favorite implement of war, the Fiji Club.
Ooh, the Fiji Club. All right.
The collection here brought together is quite complete, consisting of the Maloma, Arion, Toka, and Eula. They vary in form and size, and indeed, I skipped a line. They vary in form and size, and being made of brown ebony and ironwood, and completely knotted, appear to be a terrible weapon indeed. Some of the specimens resemble the war club of the American Indian, only that the former are finished with greater care and more extensively ornamented. When a Fiji warrior has taken the life of an enemy with his club, he does not, like the Pawnee Indian, take the scalp of the deceased and attach it to his girdle, but he extracts one of the handsomest teeth and sets it as a jewel in the head of his club, and therefore...
I just showed her a picture of one with teeth. Google it, guys. That's cool.
That's gnarly. He sets it as a jewel in the head of his club, and therefore, whenever you see a Fiji club ornamented with dozens of these jewels, you may know that a dozen souls have been dispatched by it into the world to come. But this is not the only manner in which the Fijis proclaim and perpetuate their deeds of blood, for they have a fashion of making necklaces out of human teeth, which the young heroes of the nation are in the habit of presenting to their brides. From this fact, we may conclude that the Fiji ladies are particularly partial to a fine row of teeth. A number of these ornaments may be seen in the collection under consideration. I guess maybe, just different world. I can honestly say that if someone presented me with a string of teeth, I would probably run screaming.
What? It's just like a diamond.
Is it though?
It could be.
Maybe to them. Of Fiji wigs, combs, and pins, there are a number of good specimens. The wigs are made of human wool, very black, and packed onto the skull to the thickness of several inches. The combs and pins are made of whalebone and coconut fibers. A Fiji barber is usually considered one of the greatest men of his nation, and it is often the case that a whole day will be employed upon the head of a single individual. In connection with this subject, we may mention the Fiji pillow, which is made of wood, something like a wooden horse.
What?
A wooden pillow. Okay.
That doesn't sound right.
No.
That doesn't sound very comfortable.
Nope. And employed to support the head when the proprietor thereof would like to rest himself without spoiling the arrangement of his hair. It is an invention particular to the Fijis, we believe, and is quite curious. Several specimens may be seen at the National Institute.
I'm saving a bunch of these pictures so I can share them with you guys. So look for that on Facebook and Instagram. Maybe TikTok. Not TikTok. Maybe TikTok. What's the other one we do? Twitter. What's that one? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Shell ornaments. In this department of art, the Fijis are well represented. And the conchologist...
I bet.
Conchologist.
People who study the conchs.
will here find beautiful specimens of the pearl shell and the orange curry, the latter being so rare that single shells have been known to sell for many $100s. A sea slug is the name of an article resembling a blackened potato, which
Gross.
is exported from the Fiji Islands to China as a species of food and considered by the Chinese a great delicacy. In looking at the article in The Wanderer is how... In looking at the article, the wonder is how can the thing be masticated? And it is certain that none but a native of the Celestial Empire would have the hardihood to attempt to demolishment,
Demolishment, I would say. Maybe they don't chew it. Maybe they just...
Gross. Yuck. Okay. Idols. Of these, there are 3 or 4 specimens, which are painted black and particularly hideous.
No.
Musical instruments. Flutes and pipes are here in abundance. The former are constructed so as to be blown with the nose, and the latter through excretingly crude, bare, and close resembled to the pipes used by the shepherds of Scotland at the present day. Nose flutes.
Nose flutes. Gross. That's gross. That's grosser than slurping a sea slug.
Oh, a Fiji drum. This instrument resembles more an Indian dugout or an ordinary pig trough and is sounded by beating on the inner side. It is about 4 feet long and 2 in height and is the last thing in the world that a man would conclude to be a drum.
Okay.
Yeah. Fiji pottery. Of all the barbarians in the South Sea who are known to be acquainted with the manufacture of pottery, the Fiji are the most accomplished. The specimens brought home by the expedition are quite numerous, and in texture and workmanship, they are really beautiful. The drinking vessels are made with holes at the top, and instead of placing them to the mouth, they are held suspended over the mouth, and the liquid poured down the throat. By this arrangement,
That's how my children also prefer to drink their water.
That's so weird. But I mean, I guess after years of telling them not to backwash.
Here's one for you. Kate likes to partway unscrew the lid of her water bottle and then like shake it into her mouth.
That's weird.
Why? What is that doing for you? You're
Making
sprinkling your own mouth. Or like she like crunches the bottle so it like squirts out. Like, I don't get it.
I don't either. By this arrangement, a number of persons can drink from the same vessel without any offense to the fastidious. For it must be remembered that the Fijis are quite as particular as they are outrageous and barbarous in their customs.
Okay. Sure, sir.
The Fiji Oracle. This is an article made of coconut shell and covered by means of glue with coating of scarlet seeds of the arbus species.
Okay.
Sure. Fishing nets. Of these, there are a great variety, and what renders them remarkable is the fact that, though made from the hibiscus, they are as beautiful in texture as the finest made from American twine. In the same case with the above may be found a variety of mats, fans, and aprons, which are all well worth examining on account of their curious mechanism.
Okay.
That's all I got about Fiji.
Well, I have some really good pictures to share.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yep. From the New York Commercial Advertiser. But there is a letter which we have been favored that takes a more temperate and rational view of the matter, and may be read with profit, we suspect, by some of those who are eager to rush into the gold adventure. It affords me pleasure to give any of my friends who desire it all the information I can in regard to California, and when plain direct questions are asked, I will endeavor to give plain answers. But I really cannot take the responsibility of advising anyone to go or remain at home. I have no hesitation in saying that many will be greatly disappointed. It seems the impression has gone forth that gold can be obtained in California with very little labor. It is not so. Yet there is gold there beyond all question, and those who are willing to dig will at least receive a fair amount. A fair amount's not even in there. Wow. This is that dumb word I have so much troubles with. Remuneration.
Not moo. Mew.
Remuneration. We're just going to pretend I can say it.
Remuneration.
Okay. For their labor. Perhaps for any men. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go with that whole sentence over again.
Okay.
Yet, there is gold there beyond all question, and those who are willing to dig will at least receive fair remuneration.
There you go.
For their labor, perhaps for many years to come. The result of this state of things will undoubtedly keep the price of labor very high. The mechanics of every description may find employment in California, and it would be considered here great wages. But the quantity of mechanics already gone and going there seems to be out of proportion. It seems to me, I find I am not alone in this, that there has already been merchandise enough shipped from the United States to overstock the country for a long time. I am told that a great many young men are going who know but little about work. To all of this class, I say, I think it would be well for them to look before they leap. To all who are willing to submit to the hardships of such a life and are able and willing to labor with their own hands, can make up their minds to make California their future home. There is at present no country that can hold out such inducements for immigrants.
Okay.
So the first guy's like, yeah, everybody can do it. Everybody can make a fortune. And then this guy's like, but guys, you have to work for it.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can't just show up and it be like, ta-da,
right.
I have monies.
Right.
I wish that's how it worked.
I wish that's how everything worked.
Yeah.
It would be nice. But alas.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Do you want to hear about a raft of monkeys?
Yes. Yes, I do want to hear about a raft of monkeys.
Okay. So, a raft of monkeys.
Wait, time out. You got to get closer to your mic.
A raft of monkeys.
Thank you.
A singular and almost touching drama was lastly observed by the crew of a French sloop of war.
Sloop of water.
Sloop of water.
Not a slip of water.
Recently returned from a voyage to the seas of India. A dozen monkeys had been put on board and tied on deck, where they had delighted the old tars from morning till night with their frolics and gambols.
Aww.
Some, however, discontented with their short space allotted to them, broke their chains, invaded the captain's cabin, jumped over chairs and tables, spilt the ink on the official documents, and behaved in such an inconsiderate manner
those naughty
their
monkeys.
death was resolved upon the warrant signed on the spot. The order to throw these poor innocent victims overboard was received with general sadness for the forward deck. The old sailors, after a long consultation, came to the conclusion that a raft might be built upon which the poor creatures might at least find one chance of salvation. All hands were soon at work, and the raft completed.
Oh, they built the monkeys a raft.
A small mast made fast to it, a sail hoisted in the direction of the current, a good supply of biscuits and crackers, and a cask of water were put on board. And the 12 unfortunate outlaws were abandoned to their unhappy fate. We have been told willingly believe that the old sailors were moved to even tears and waved their hats, remained on deck, watching with anxious solicitude the frail embarkation until it was out of sight and disappeared towards the land, where they hoped it might go on shore on some neighboring coast.
I hope so too. I bet they were moved to tears, those old sailormen.
They're just a bunch of softies.
Bunch of softies at heart, they are. They felt so bad for those little monkeys.
No.
They're like, no, we can't just throw them overboard.
Yeah.
Let's build them a raft. It reminds me kind of Pirates of the Caribbean, where the pirates are, like, there's a few of them that are just, like, really nice guys. Big teddy bears. I was also thinking, the monkeys, I saw this TikTok that was, like, the doctor when he answered the phone when the mama called, and 5 more monkeys were jumping on the bed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the doctor's like, okay, well, don't let your monkeys jump on the bed. Okay, bye. And he's like, he goes again. He's like, oh my God, again? Another one? Yeah, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. And he hangs up. And by the time he gets to the 5th one, he's like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? It was just like, I bet that's what the doctor was like.
Yeah.
Like, I might have to report you at this point. Oh, sorry, my eyes are watering. Something terrible.
Were you sad about the monkeys?
I was really sad about the monkeys,
Aww.
I guess. It might also be the open window and my allergies, but
That could be.
all right, this one comes from the Boston Journal, and it again is about the gold rush.
Okay.
The following is an extract from a letter to a commercial house in the city dated at San Francisco, October 8th. Since my last, the first, second, and third mates have run away, and the crew have all deserted, except one seaman and 2 boys. To enable us to leave this port, I have been obliged. Obliged. I don't know what happened there.
Obliged to do what?
Obliged to ship Kanakis, which, again, this is... I Googled Kanakis. So Kanakis is Hawaiian for a person or man of any South Pacific Islander or a person or man, any South Pacific Islander employed in Queensland, Australia, or sugar plantations or cattle stations, or as servants in towns. So these are just Pacific Islanders who are employed, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah, as servants, basically.
Okay.
I don't know if employed is the correct word or not.
I mean, leaning more towards enslaved.
Maybe. Probably.
Okay.
But I don't know. They could be indentured servants because Australia was a big place for indentured servitude.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to start that sentence over so we can go with all one thing. All right. To enable us to leave this port, I have been obliged to ship Kanakis at $75 per month with the promise that we will return here in December. We have now on board the captain, one mate, cook, and 9 working men and boys. And the Brock will sail for Monterey on the 11th. Next. There are 17 vessels in port, 9 of which, including the ships Huntress and Roan, are laid up for want of crews to navigate them. So 9 out of 17 ships in port don't have crews at this point.
That's rough.
Right? Gold continues to be found in great Gold continues to be found in great abundance, and the excitement continues in all its force. Vessels and people are daily flocking here from all parts of the Pacific.
Fun.
Yeah. I'm really having a hard time.
That's okay. I have a story about a tame wolf.
What? You get all the good ones.
You gave me all the good ones.
I did. Sorry about that. That was my phone.
Yeah. So, a tame wolf belonging to Mr. Harwood of Cincinnati lately attacked a man who was walking with Mr. H. The wolf took occasion to walk behind them and, before either was aware, seized the man by the thigh with his teeth.
He doesn't sound very tame.
Making a horrible wound. He continued snapping and biting on both legs, notwithstanding every effort was made by Harwood to prevent him until he had lacerated the flashy pants. No, I'm sorry. Until he had lacerated the fleshy parts.
I like
Not
flashy pants.
Flashy pants. I mean, he was biting his leg. Flashy pants makes sense.
They were silver and reflective.
Fleshy parts of the limb in a dreadful manner. Several persons arrived on the spot with pickaxes and other instruments and succeeded in killing the wolf.
I mean, it probably needed to happen, but that's just really sad to imagine.
The man was taken into the house and his wounds dressed and attended to, and he is now doing well.
I'm so glad to hear that. Also, no one should ever hit anything with a pickaxe. Pickaxes scare the crap out of me.
I just think zombie apocalypse, that's all you need a pickaxe for.
I think I've been working on the railroad. That's what comes to my mind when I think pickaxes.
Oh, God.
All right. Gold. And admitting all that has been reported of the gold region to California, of California, to be true and to the utmost, all sober-minded men must nevertheless regard it in a national view as farther a misfortune than a source of congratulation. Visions of gold sands and precious masses are filling, and it may be said, fevering the minds of thousands. If the epidemic continues, we may expect to find them soon abandoning the plow and the workbench, the fundamental sources of the nation's prosperity, for that wealth which perishes in the using. As far as our experience of history runs, no nation which abounded in gold was ever distinguished for one solitary characteristic of true greatness, or of that which is more Estimable. Estimatable. I forgot part of that word. No, it says estimable. That's how I typed it. True happiness. There which are some axioms connected with this subject, of which the following are worthy of consideration. The desire or sudden wealth is always morally injurious and operates as an effectual check to ordinary industry. Agreed. Great wealth, suddenly acquired, is seldom beneficial to the possessors or their children. The plow and spade employed in agriculture are the surest and most effectual gold diggers.
Okay.
All history, as well as gospel, informs us that the best form of human happiness is to be found in moderated desires, industrious and virtuous habits, in the fear of God, and in the disposition which induces us to lay up our treasures in heaven and not on earth. I really liked that last bit. Like a lot.
Yeah.
I think more people need to realize that. Like moderated desires.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
chill the fuck out, guys.
Yeah.
Just John and I were actually talking about that on the way here, about people hoarding wealth. But I won't go into it, but yes, I agree. There's no point.
No, there's not.
You can't take it with you when you're gone.
Truth.
And when you just give it to your kids, you just fuck them up.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't say everyone, but I feel like just in general, those who are given instead of work.
Yes. They don't appreciate what they have.
Have a little different virtuous habits. That's what the word was.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is apparently about an English nobleman.
Okay.
Okay. And he came down in a steamboat from St. Louis to New Orleans.
All right.
Having with him a number of animals, birds, etc., obtained in an excursion from some months among the wilds of the West. He had 4 fine buffaloes.
Oh my God, no way.
One with calf, and the largest cow buffalo ever seen. He intends stocking his park with these. He had also a beautiful antelope obtained from a naval officer with a fine bear. Okay, and he showed a large collection of our prairie birds, and preserved in a fine state by his naturalist.
His taxidermist.
So they were all...
It's Noah's Ark of the West.
Oh my gosh. But were they all dead or were they alive? I'm confused.
He said he was going to stock his park, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say alive. It's like a zoo.
Okay, but then showing a large collection of prairie birds preserved in a...
Well, you can't transport a bunch of prairie birds.
Naturalist.
Unless they're dead. Yeah. Okay, so I have a funny story about prairie birds. Because we live on the Great Prairie.
We do.
So we went and got Kate her funnel cake last night, which was 30 miles away. So we were driving home, and I hit a bird. Thankfully, it didn't break anything because, oh my God, that sucks so bad. So I asked her, did you happen to see what kind of bird that was? And she goes, yeah, it was like one of those turkey birds. And I said, a turkey? And she said, no, it was just a bird that looked like a turkey, but it was smaller.
Okay.
I was like, a pheasant? And she's like, I don't know what a pheasant looks like. I'm like, I don't know how you are managing life
in Kansas and you don't know what a pheasant looks like?
I said, did it have a long tail feather? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to have to settle with not knowing what kind of bird I hit other than that it looked like a turkey bird.
Good job, Kate.
I can't even with her. A turkey bird.
Turkey bird.
Okay. All right. From California, from the New Orleans Commercial Times. We have files of the Californian from San Francisco to the 7th of October in reference to the slave question, the editor says. We believe we echo the sense of the country when we assert that slavery is neither needed nor desired here, and that if their voice could be heard in the halls of our national legislature, it would be as the voice of one man. Rather than put this blighting curse upon us, let us remain as we are, unacknowledged, unaided. The plover said from Honolulu, August 24th, for Bering Strait. Nope, they didn't say it. This was a whole different sentence. I know, you can't believe that, but California doesn't want slaves.
Okay.
The plover sailed, not said, from Honolulu, August 24th, for Bering's Straits. With supplies for Sir John Ross, the Northwest Passage explorer. He should have arrived in that vicinity. So this is October, so it took 2 months to sail there.
I could see that.
The editor of the Californian announces the stoppage of the Oregon papers. Cause the gold fever immigration is flowing thence to the Sacramento. So it's putting the papers in Oregon out of business.
Wow. So I have a rumor to tell you about.
Okay.
That's the rumor of a murder.
I thought you were being serious right now. I mean, like, you are being serious, but like I thought you said meant like in real life.
Like in real life? This was in real life.
IRL.
This was IRL just 100 years ago.
Fair. Okay.
The rumor of the murder of Reverend Daniel Baker, an esteemed Presbyterian ministry in Texas, is contradicted. Letters have been received from him at Princeton, New Jersey, stating his escape from the perils to which he was exposed among the Indians and his safe return to Victoria.
Well, good for him.
Good job.
He didn't get murdered. No murder.
Yay.
The Baltimore American publishes the annexed extract of a letter from a former resident of that place, dated at San Francisco on the 12th of October. I am selling off, slowly, the heavy art of my cargo. Brown shirting, ticks, cremlins, stripes, duck, Russia sheeting, hardware, etc. All these articles are wanted. The attentions of the whole population is entirely devoted to the gold region. They are going to and fro continually, taking up goods and bringing down gold dust in payment for their purchases. Much sickness prevails, and many die, as much from want of medical attention and good nursing as from disease. But the truth is, they are so entirely absorbed by the mania for gold that they care nothing for comfort and submit to every privation. You may believe the most extravagant reports of the abundance of gold on the Sacramento. It is to be had for digging. Some dig in the water, others in what is called dry diggings, but all are successful and value money little. Wow. And value money but little. Packages of goods are exposed for days, or want of room and laborers to store them. For want of room and laborers to store them. But this is attended with but little, if at any risk, owing to the general good conduct of people. Since I've been here, so they just have stacks of provisions that nobody's touching.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay. Good for them, I guess. Since I have been here, I have not heard of a single breach of the peace. I hope to close my business in a month, and by that time, the rainy season will probably drive sailors down to the port. At present, they are not to be had. I do not think much change will take place in prices for articles particularly wanted, unless the supply should be very heavy. The immigration will be large, and their wants must be supplied. Pork has been sold to arrive from Columbia River at $60 per barrel.
I want to know how much each barrel weighs. Like, how much pork are you getting?
I have
in
no
a barrel?
idea. And is it like salted pork?
I would hope so. Otherwise, yuck.
Barrel pork.
Ew.
Acky.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about cholera?
Of course I do. Who doesn't? Really?
The cholera.
Oh, the cholera. It's like, yep, okay.
Yeah. Letter from a lady.
Oh, boy.
To the editor of the National Intelligencer.
Intelligencer.
Okie dokie.
That's exactly what you said. You just said it really slow.
Intelligencer. Gentlemen, as much alarm is naturally excited by the approach of the cholera, I send you, by my husband's permission, a prescription which, in our experience, limited to be sure, has never failed to cure that disease. It has been used for more than 40 years past in cases of the ordinary cholera of our country, and, though brought from India, was applied at first timidly during the last season of the Asiatic epidemic. As it succeeded then beyond hope, I am emboldened to offer it to you now, only requesting of you the courtesy of concealing the name of your constant and deeply interested reader. Port Gibbon, Mississippi, I'm guessing?
Yeah, that would be my guess as well.
November 27th, 1848. Chalk julep for cholera morbus. 2 drams.
Yeah, drams.
Okay, so I'm just going to preface this by saying there are like a few different recipes, it looks like, in here. And some of the measurements I am unfamiliar with, so bear with me.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll help as I may.
Okay. So, drams, sol, period, S-A-L, period, sol, I don't know.
I think that might mean like dissolved, but I'm not also sure.
Okay. Anyway, that's...
Like a solution.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay. So that's tartar. 1 ounce prepared chalk, 4 ounces of water, either rainwater or distilled.
Okay. Noted. Not tap water.
Right. The bottle to be well shaken when used. 2 teaspoonfuls a dose for an adult, to be given according to the violence of the disease at intervals of 10 minutes to half an hour till the attack ceases. In cases of Asiatic cholera, 10 to 15 drops of spirits camphor should be added to each dose. This recipe was brought, if my memory be correct, by a physician from India, Dr. Darlington, sometime member of Congress from Pennsylvania. It was used with faithful or unfailing success in very severe seizures during the last visitation of the cholera in this country. It will keep mixed or unmixed for any length of time, whereas the chalk julep of the dispensatory soon ferments. It was used by an American physician in the following formula and succeeded in very advanced stages of the disease. 3, I'm thinking drops, DRS.
That's also drams.
Okay. Serta PPT. Clay. Okay. 1 drop solution tart. Okay. 2 ounces of peppermint water. Laudanum, 15 drops.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
Can't do it without the laudanum.
Ooh. Dose same as before. Follow it up with tonics, chiefly preparations of iron and bark, as soon as the patient is convalescent. I am tempted also to give you a preparation of a very successful physician for the dispensatory, which, in my experience of that disease, has never failed to effect a cure. The physician was a man of great science and skill. He was also a Baptist exhorter, and believed himself to be often aided by divine wisdom and in the application of the various articles of the Materia Medicina.
Is that Latin?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's
You did a great job.
italicized. Thank you.
Yeah, I bet it's Latin.
In his practice. So this one is 1 ounce of Epsom salt, 1 ounce carbonate of magnesia, 6 grams ipecac, and that's my assumption.
Yeah, it's Ipecac.
To be well mixed and divided into 9 powders. Dose for adults, 1 powder mixed with water, to be repeated every 2 hours till the pain entirely subsides.
I don't feel like you're supposed to ingest Epsom salts. Or is it kind of like a saline solution at that point? Like,
I think it would be
like normal saline.
diluted enough. I mean, it's it doesn't say how much water you're supposed to mix it with, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll trust her. Because
So next time you get the poos,
just take some Epsom salt
Epsom salt,
and laudanum.
carbonate, and ipecac. Doesn't the ipecac make you throw up though?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe it just makes some people. Well, maybe. I mean, it's like, yep, Pepto makes me throw up.
That's weird. It's supposed to.
It just tastes really bad to me.
Ah.
I just really can't stand the taste of it.
That's why. Okay. Physicians speak something of the unity of disease. It may be so, but neither the chalk julep nor spirits of camphor have any good effect in dysentery, nor are those powders of any use in cholera.
Okay.
I feel like that totally
Negates
goes,
what
yeah,
was just
exactly.
said. But okay, sure, ma'am. All right. Here's my last one I got for you.
Okay.
The gold mines are not inexhaustible. The New London Star of December 11th publishes a letter from Thomas Douglas, Esquire, of that city, who dates from gold digging on American River as early as 16th of July, boasting of new wealth of the gold mines and profits of his own digging and washing. Nevertheless, he mentions 1 or 2 facts which express a world of meaning and are worthy of attention of some of the sufferers from the California fever here at home, as showing that this wonderful gold mine resembles all other gold mines the world has yet known, in not being altogether inexhaustible. He describes the amount of gold taken out of the earth as being prodigious, there being hundreds of persons, he says, who daily obtain from half a pound to 2 pounds, etc. But he goes on to make the following observations. This cannot last long. Very many of the rich deposits have already been thoroughly drained. The business is already precarious, depending on very much upon the luck in finding a rich place. Almost anyone, however, with industry and sagacity, as luck as before in finding a rich place, may average from 1 to 2 ounces per day. Before, however, a person can arrive here from the States, it will, in probability, be much less lucrative. These rich places are getting worked out very soon, and it is a hard case if one must have good luck before being sure of not getting into a very precarious business. Suppose, however, one has the luck to average from 1 to 2 ounces a day. What will be the profit? With gold at $7 an ounce, at least at which it was selling in San Francisco, and the cost of subsistence and all the necessaries of life several times as great as in California as here. It will not be difficult to prove by the arithmetical. I don't know why I have such a hard time making my mouth move.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, calculation that the average profits of gold mining must prove about equal to the average proceeds of labor at home, or about $1 or $2 a day. No such great matter after all, or scarcely sufficient, at least, to reward the risks of emigration and the cost of an expensive voyage and outfit. North American. So he's like, not worth your time, guys. Stay home. Because you might be making all this money, but then they're charging you $8 for a cup of beer. So, not worth it.
Nope.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You got any stories left?
Nope.
We're all done?
Yeah.
All right. That was it.
Yay.
Okay.
But don't forget to find us on Facebook and Instagram at That's What They Called News and Twitter at That's News Pod. And also, if you want to submit any story suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. And you can email us at that'swhattheycallednews@gmail.com.
Hooray!
Yay!
Thanks for listening. We'll
We love
see you
you.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.